Hi and welcome. I'm Maria, and we're all here today to look at unpacking the five key elements for early years music. Now, I'm the founder of Maria Moon Music, as you well know. Very excited to have you here. We have a mixture of parents, homeschooling educators, some childminders. I'm very happy to see you and hear of your success stories with our approach, which is based on the monomodal music learning approach. So we've all talked about this, and there's also training on our website and on YouTube channel about the perspectives of learning. So adopting one monomodal focal perspective, exploring a piece, unpacking that, and then moving on to other five elements that we're going to talk about today. So these perspectives are interconnected, they're interrelated, they are, of course, concurrent at times. Just quickly about me, if you haven't seen these photos around social media and heart profile on LinkedIn, I've started my music career and work with children since I was 14 and 16 years old. You can see a picture of me dressed as a boy with a lot of attentive little faces looking at us. Um, we were bringing books to life at a local library, and it was a project sponsored by the local government and also two cultural sponsors locally that decided to have this project throughout the entire summer. It's a great experience, and I loved it. Since then, I've had a career in sales in London. I moved to the UK in late 90s and then studied and worked in London for 11 years, where I had a career in music. You can always explore my page on LinkedIn. And of course, I had a career in sales and in music in parallel. So my LinkedIn page is open for you to explore, to look at my qualifications. But as you can see here, I had many years also living in Dubai, where I was a music teacher, classroom teacher, and I also did some classical training for singers. And I was myself part of the Dubai Opera House choir called the Festival Chorus. And as you can see from this image, I'm delivering a concert for Christmas. So I did a lot of musicals, a lot of plays, a lot of foundation FS level plays in all British schools in British curriculum, and one of them, the last one I worked at, was an IB stroke British curriculum, and of course we had two elements of instruction, which was one in line with the West and the other with local Arabic laws and rules. So I absolutely believe that every adult can develop musicality in children. It is created through the environment and our love for music and how they perceive us to interact with music. I do believe that every child is born with some music aptitude, and this is a quote by Edwin Gordon. Musical aptitude is not a unitary trait. It is multi-dimensional, so interrelates to lots of areas, from senses, from our thinking, from our emotional states, from our family environment. We split into two: tonal aptitudes like melody and harmony, and rhythmic aptitudes like meter, tempo, macro beats, micro beats, etc. And of course, the preferences of every child, because every child, every adult, every school has its own ethos and culture, and likes and dislikes. And we need to use that in learning today, even if it's from a baby stage before children actually go into formal schooling. This is our role. The early years music is a field and an area that a lot of teachers back then, when I trained in 2012 to 2015, and worked in music and did my master's in Dubai, I would hear classroom teachers very much sort of scared of interacting with children and music, and a bit worried that they're going to interfere in a negative way, which is not possible unless you really break the rules of safeguarding and being child centered. So in early years music, there is specific parameters we follow, because as you know, 100 years ago or more, this was a typical classroom. So it was very gray. It was unidirected from the teacher to the students, who would just sit there for hours at their desks, expected to write. And this is how music was actually taught, very much in the same way as English, maths, and other subject areas as well. Since that time, we are living in a completely different world, and you know what I'm talking about. Not just before the pandemic, it was already fundamentally different. I mean, in Dubai, I never saw a black and white kind of chalkboard. It was all interactive. We used these devices already back in 2014 to 2019 when I left. It was all electronic. It was all sort of smart screens, interaction with iPads. Every student had one. So a very different world. Since the pandemic, this is accelerated. And the challenge now is to keep children engaged, but also to have a balance, a fine balance between engagement and the ability to let them think. Because thinking and processing happens in silence. Um, so these strategies that we can talk about today are going to be surrounding the three perspectives of music as an approach, but I'm going to outline what are the five key core musical skills that children must acquire between their first year in primary to year six. And we kind of, in your early years, we're going to prepare the grounds for that learning to take place in a sequential manner so that children understand music. So, the three perspectives of music are, of course, that I use and we use, and you have used as well if you were here before. If you're just watching this training, probably not, but you can always try, is to pick one of these perspectives, really go deep into them using these prompts. So, physical and spatial is about exploration of the body, of space, of movement, of resources that are non pitched, so non tonal. And it's about understanding how we can express music visually and physically. Feeling and emotions is about extracting a message of meaning from our feelings and emotions in relation to the piece of music we're exploring. So we use prompts like, are we happy when we hear this? Do we feel sad? Do we feel excited? Or is it a song or piece to calm us down? Is it a bedtime story song? Or is it like a walk in the park type of song? Thinking and communicating, the perspective is now turned to meaning and analyzing what the song is trying to tell us. Why does it go a certain way? What can we think the message is really all about? So these are the simplicity of the mono learning. Mono model is about picking one focused perspective and going much deeper before we go into another one from the same music piece. So we believe that music ability is not innate in all of us at the same level. It needs to be nurtured, though we are born with the aptitude for music, but the ability to learn and to make music is another ball game altogether, right? So just as children learn to speak by immersion and imitation and modeling, they can also learn music through early exposure to the right environment, one that is loving, caring, attentive to what they would like to do. And if they don't want to engage, they can just hear and listen to us and pay attention. That's also fine. So emphasizing the character of development of listening and sensitivity to sound, not just to perform for us, to gratify us with confirmation that they understood what we were talking about or what we were showing them, right? So, the core principles of this process of music monomodal learning is exactly that. It's about using the mother tongue approach, so our voices as sound first before the sign, so before the image, and learn music pretty much like a language through exposure to quality deep listening with the right guidance and structure, first through exposing the child to a sequence of notes with variety of meter, of tone, of sort of context and content and repetition so that they get exposed to different perspectives of music. You can begin at birth through to 18 months is the key, most impactful phase of early years music that you can possibly have. And then, of course, between 18 months and 2.5, then 3 to 5 are typical kind of development stages for music development. So, parent involvement is, of course, essential, and siblings in the family environment. So wherever the child goes, when they wake up, when they eat together, when they're in the common areas, when they're in a social space at home, in the home or with family members, they should attend a lesson. So parents attend a lesson or childminders lately, and practice them at home and practice and continue the learning after they leave. So we look at that as an extended learning, yeah? modeling the attitude towards their voice, which should be always positive, modeling the good aspects of learning music. It's not about toxic happiness, it's about meaning, depth, understanding, and comprehension. So, repetition and review, mastering through joyful interactions with your child, learning in the community or in a social environment helps to reinforce the engagement and motivation, and thinking of performance from the very start, not the perfectionist of it aspect of it. So, there are other two videos that I've done on the mainstream music theories of learning. I've just put a little snippet of Dalcroze. I explore Orff, I explore Kadali, I explore Suzuki method, and the one I am the most fun um, to have and to incorporate as a blended approach is the Edwin Gordon's, so the American MLT or music learning theory of Edwin Gordon. I have a separate video about that, but on this one, I just wanted to put them side to side. So this monomodal learning approach that we use blend the music theories of mainstream educators with the simplicity of focused learning through the three perspectives. So, what we are looking to achieve is a progression from foundation early years to a child who's confident about making music expressively. And then when they go to primary, it's not something completely new where they're kind of lost. There's another 25 or 30, 27 or 28 children in the room, and they have to make sense of what they're listening. No, they're already prepared by those five basic elements, which are rhythm, speed, of course, so the rhythm and the beat, the tone and the pitch, followed by speed, followed by volume, followed by contrast. So the idea is we are guiding them through this journey, okay, to navigate what those elements are once we choose the perspective. So as you can see, when you look at a piece of music, I just wanted to put it here in the image, okay? And you're all going to agree with this. In primary, we were expected to attach a picture to meaning, to a sound, whether it's rhythm, a tone, or pitch. Was it do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. So we're expected to attach that to a picture. If they've never seen it, they're going to have a shock, right? They're going to have that resistance to learning because they haven't been exposed to it. We're here to make that a commonality in their lives. Then the speed, so how fast does the rhythm and your beat is going to go? How fast is the tone or the pitch, the singing? Is it faster than what you can hear? Is it slower? What you could compare to before you heard this piece in a different speed, okay? Volume, of course, and contrast, which includes the sentence, the wording, how the music starts, the middle, the ending, what texture of instruments do we use? Is the voice thin or thick? Or is the instrument sounding like fat and resonant, or is it sounding thin and sharp? So, just for you to have an idea, we are learning in a protracted way, but in a very simple and skillful way to prepare the child to arrive in primary with a good knowledge of what music actually is and what it's all about, from the rhythmic perspective to tonal perspective, plus all the other layers on top. By the time they reach year 6, and I taught children from FS all the way to secondary when they were doing their GCSEs, in the UK National British Curriculum for Key Stage 2, by the time they reach the end of year 6, so they're age 11, they need to, one, listen attentively, recall sounds with strong oral memory of the piece, appreciate the diversity of genres, styles, traditions, and evaluate music from different historical periods, perform consistently through singing, playing, tuned and untuned instruments. Yeah. So, for example, a djembe drum would be an untuned instrument, okay? But a xylophone is tuned because you tap it, but it has pitch, okay? So that it's clear. And ensemble settings, so with other children, with accuracy, some fluency, and good degree of control and expression. So the third thing they need to do is to show and demonstrate improvisation skills so they compose a little bit of music. It doesn't need to be in written sort of the literacy level doesn't have to be complex. They can do it with pictures, with objects, with we once did pasta music. We once did pasta music and it was great. We did some music with different types of grains. So it could be rice grains, it could be beans, dried beans, whatever you can imagine. So there's many ways of composing. They can create music with different purposes using their interrelated dimensions of pitch, duration, dynamics, tempo. So this is all a more complex level. They should be able to read and use notation and understand and apply that notation and other symbols to support their performance, their composing and reproducing music from memory. And finally, they should understand musical elements by name. So their name, how to manipulate them, the pitch, the rhythm, the dynamics, the timbre, structure of listening, performing, and creating activities that demonstrate that understanding of that musical element. So, sounds like quite a lot, but it's not. So, fear not, we're here to help you. I'm here to make this much simpler. So, at a basic level, okay, your 9-month old or 8-month old or 6-month old, they should understand that music has these elements, but in a simplistic format. And that is why I put here the elements in order. So, any music that you're going to explore, you should do it with these elements in mind and in this order. Why? Okay, let's have a look. Because they are built upon each other. So, if you go to volume before the child understands the rhythmic and the beat and what it is, you're going to confuse them when you go into the speed. So all these elements can be very confusing if they're not understood and confirmed in order. So first you select, for example, a perspective of music from the body. So it could be tapping. For example, we're going to tap to Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Then we're going to lose the sort of the song we know, and we're going to deconstruct the song, for example, into those 5 elements. So if I was to tap the song in my body, I could do. So that's the rhythm, okay? Twinkle, twinkle, little star. The tone and the pitch. So now we're going to, once we did those rhythmic patterns with them, so extracting the words, no pitch, very plain, very the same. We're going to then explore the tone. So the song goes yum ba dum ba dum ba dum ba dum ba dum ba dum yum 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 ba dum ba dum ba dum. So now I have included and added a tone or pitch pattern into my basic structure of rhythm. And now I'm going to play with the speed and the volume and then the contrast. So this is just an example of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Now I've ordered these in a simplistic form, which is always start with rhythm, beat. Okay, this is always the first element to explore within the 3 perspectives. Ask the child to show you the rhythm and the beat and how it goes. Tap it, drum it, speak it, break it down, move to it, or explain it. Okay. The second element, move on to praising Timmy, Jimmy, Victoria, Olivia for that particular specific work. Moving on to the tone. Second element, no words, no lyrics, just how the song sounds in terms of pitch. Follow the tonal perspectives of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Start with chants, small intervals, choose and close or further away. Don't sing the resting tone, the end of the song, right? To see if the child can fill up the last sound and sing it back to you. And then you can go on to the next element, the speed. Sing and tap faster and slower. Then ask the child to do exactly what you did and model what you did. Then now add the volume. Make it louder at certain points and quieter at certain points. When they're ready, introduce the words high and low, loud and soft, quiet and loud, screaming. Then go into contrast. The fifth element is to explore the dynamics of the piece in more detail. So lots of different contrasts such as phrasing, textures, the repetition. Is it a song in A, B, A? So it has an introduction, a chorus, and a different ending or the same as the first. Or is it an A, B, C song with the introduction, the chorus in the middle, and a different ending? Or is it an A, B song? Okay, those are the elements of contrast and sentencing and phrasing. So, these music monomodal learning perspectives are always there to guide you. You could then do the whole process, for example, from the body to the mind, and think about how we could use the song. What if we're singing the song in a camp, a holiday camp, outside in the forest? What if we were singing it in our bedroom? What if we were singing when it was really sunny or when it was dark and horribly cold so that we could cheer ourselves up and think about the sun or the stars? So I hope that you end this quick training understanding the five basic elements of music learning and how you can deconstruct them in your very small, short, and but engaging music session, because it's about that. It's about not being perfect. It's about being persistent, being coherent, and having, say, 15-minute session in the morning and a 15-minute session mid-afternoon or perhaps before bedtime. So I hope you've enjoyed it. And I leave you with this quote: to every early years educator, your music moments matter much more than you know. Keep up the good work, be persistent, and keep opening those musical doors to those beautiful, bright minds and smiley faces that you get to see every day. Your children in a group, if you're a childminder, if you're delivering this in a class setting or in an informal setting, go for it. Don't hold back. Just ask us for guidance and help. I'm here to help you, and I hope this will make a difference to your music session once you embody and absorb these concepts. So, thank you for watching, and I will always have more training, more guidelines, more resources on our website and also on our YouTube channels, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So, I'll see you very soon, and thank you for being here.